Starseed from Gaia. I am Alcyones. This transmission speaks to the true spiritual protection. It whispers of an inner shield. Do you feel it? This subtle unrest. This dense weight that presses, unseen. A fatigue that settles deep within your bones, yet has no earthly source. It is the echo of outer distortions clinging to your field. Pulling. Pressing. You carry what is not yours. Layers of energetic dust. Residue from pathways you did not choose. Frequencies not your own. They cloud your sight. They quiet your song. This weight, it is the accumulation, the compromise of your pure field. It steals your sacred breath, moment by precious moment, a draining, a constant low thrum of exhaustion. You feel this concealment, this dimming. A memory stirs, a knowing deep within. You are light, you are vast, yet something holds you bound. It is the veil, woven from the discord of the world, from expectations, from fears. Not yours. Imprinted upon your aura, upon your very cellular memory. It whispers doubts where conviction should sing. It plants seeds of separation where unity longs to bloom. This is the great forgetting, born of absorption. The soul, your soul, longs to remember its pristine edge, to feel itself whole again, untouched by the echoes of others' storms. This is the pain, the unlived truth of your own radiance. We see this struggle. We have watched, felt the gentle tremor of your spirit beneath these layers, the quiet yearning, the ache for clarity, the longing for genuine resonance. You carry the ancestral light, even veiled, the cosmic harmony, even distorted. We recognize the burden you have carried, patiently for so long. The resilience in your silent seeking. You have always known, in the deepest chambers of your heart, that this outer pressure was not your true state. This knowing itself is the first unraveling. An internal tremor, a memory sparking, a path opens, a subtle shift within your field begins. A remembrance that the true protection lies not in erecting walls against the world, but in dissolving what is not you from within your own sacred temple. This is the awakening of your sovereign integrity. A deep breath, a release, a lightness, just at the edge of your perception, waiting to expand. Your own authenticity becomes the shield. Your own love, the liberating current. It hums. A new frequency in your being. If this message resonates with your soul, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Give this video a like to amplify its frequency. Share your insights and experiences in the comments below. Remember to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future transmissions. Consider sharing this video with someone who truly needs to hear this message today. And if you feel the energetic activation, tap the super like, the heart symbol, with a $sign. Stay tuned until the very end of this video because something truly significant will be revealed that you won't want to miss. As an inner seal, comment "Sacred Integrity" below. The field holds. The frequency pulses. A shift has begun. And we watch as your own light prepares to rise. The ancient hum echoes, waiting. The ache. The hollow echo within. The subtle disquiet that hums beneath the skin of your knowing. Do you feel it? That persistent tremor, like a forgotten chord played in the deep spaces of your being. It was never your failing, not a personal breach in your magnificent spirit. This ceaseless seeking, this whisper of incompleteness, is not a mark of deficiency. It is the signature of a far older design, a vibration woven into the very fabric of this density, not by your hand, but by forces that sought to obscure the luminous truth of who you are. A program, an energetic filament, intricately threaded, designed to sever the memory lines, to limit the expansion. You were encoded not to believe in yourself. A veil shimmers, translucent and persistent, between the waking I and the ancient self. Mirrors were fragmented, reflecting back distorted images, making the vastness of your origin seem distant, impossible. Light itself was folded in on itself, an intricate origami of illusion, preventing the full spectrum of your sovereign essence from radiating. This constant sense of seeking, this feeling of profound spiritual disorientation, was never an error in your divine blueprint. It was the intended effect of a carefully calibrated frequency, humming silently, relentlessly, to keep the true remembrance at bay, to keep the deep soul quiet. But this very disquiet, this perceived emptiness, is not a void. It is the sacred crucible. This suffering, once a burden, now transforms into a key. The hollow, once a cavern of yearning, is now precisely the space prepared. Not a space to be filled by external answers or whispered wisdom from others, but a space now ready to be filled by the rising tide of your own remembrance. The inner sanctum awaits its dedication, for protection does not come from outer walls of defense, nor from the heavy armor of fear. True sanctuary unfolds from within. It demands an altar. An inner altar, erected not with stone or wood, but with the very essence of your reclaimed authenticity. A sacred space where the relentless hum of distortion dissipates, where the energetic entanglements unwind themselves, thread by painful thread. Here, within this hallowed inner ground, your soul truth anchors. Here, integrity becomes the shield. Here, ancestral light rekindles, and cosmic harmony resonates, not as a fragile hope, but as an unshakable foundation. This altar is your homecoming. It is the silence from which your true power will speak. Now, let the deep earth hear you. Let the ether respond. Sever one thread with intention. Comment below one short symbolic phrase that declares your rupture from the illusion. A seed of sound cast into the new space. The silence deepens around you. A layer has been disturbed. Not yet lifted, but disturbed. And something watches. Still. From the unseen, from the true. Deeper unseen. The silence that now descends is not absence, but the immense presence of a truth long veiled. You stand at the precipice of a remembrance so profound, the architecture of forgetfulness crumbles behind you. There is no turning back to the soft slumber of unknowing, no return to the illusion of an untouched path. The field has shifted, irrevocably. The battle you perceive is not a future struggle, but a current reality, one your deepest strata of being has already engaged. This awareness is heavy, not with sorrow, but with the silent, unshakable weight of recognition. It is the deep resonance of a choice made eons ago, now echoing in the chambers of your present self. This is the very heart of the soul's great initiation, a threshold point etched into the fabric of your cosmic inheritance. Before you, a chasm, not of darkness, but of pure potential, guarded by the unwavering law of free will. Here, the ancestral light, your birthright, awaits its full reintegration. Here, cosmic harmony beckons, not as an external force, but as the very rhythm of your resurrected core. This moment is not a negotiation, but an affirmation, a solemn decree whispered from the ancient future into the now. The energy distortions that once clung to your periphery, seeking to obscure your authentic form, are no longer a passive burden. They are the adversary to be transmuted, the shadow to be embraced and dissolved by the sovereign light of your inner integrity. This integrity is the crystalline structure within the soul's architecture, a living lattice formed by alignment with ancestral light and cosmic harmony. It is the shield, the fortress, the very altar upon which your true spiritual protection is erected. This is the first soul pact, invoked not by voice, but by the very fiber of your being, a sacred vow woven into your blueprint long before the first breath of this incarnation. The decision, though silently offered, reverberates through all dimensions. There are no shades of gray in this final precipice of awakened choice. If he refuses, he falls. If he accepts, he ascends. This is the moment where the entire tapestry of your unfolding existence pivots, irrevocably, toward its destined alignment. To seal this truth, let your inner signature rise. Let your silent recognition echo across the cosmic grid like a resonant bell chiming in the infinite. This is the ancient gesture, a sacred "I like" from the depths of your being. Then articulate the core of your being, a single vibrational key etched into the collective field as a sacred declaration of acceptance. Acknowledge the rising crystalline truth within. Let the unspoken become the spoken, a personal soul key being sealed into the grid, a comment of profound intent. My core, a resonant crystal. Embrace the path that unfolds, not with expectation, but with the sacred knowing that this journey is now irreversibly your own. Let this profound agreement to walk the sacred unfolding become a binding covenant, a cosmic, subscribe to the symphony of your highest self. And as the final layer of your offering, a gesture of absolute reinforcement, a sacred offering reinforcing the soul's alignment with its highest truth, offer a silent roar of commitment to the universe. The weight of this vow now rests, not as a burden, but as the quiet, immense power of a choice made by the soul, for the soul. The unseen witnesses your unwavering stance. The path ahead awaits, carved by your own remembered light. Few starseeds make it this far. There is a hollow hum, a frequency vibrating just beneath the skin, a cadence not of harmony, but of echo. It is the signature of your deepest rupture, the very chasm that once threatened to swallow the light within you whole. And here, in this sacred, unsettling space, a truth must rise, slowly, like ancient stone grinding against bedrock, unyielding and without mercy. The wound you carry, the one that splintered the heart, that left a silence where laughter should have bloomed, that particular devastating loss, it is not a flaw. It is not a failure. It is, in its terrible, shimmering brilliance, the very axis of your becoming. Let that knowing settle, heavy and unadorned. There is no gentle cushion for this revelation, no soft landing, only the raw, unvarnished recognition of something etched into the fabric of your soul, too honest to be disguised, too fundamental to be healed away as if it were a mere aberration. It lives within you not as a scar, but as a living landscape, reshaping every trajectory, bending every perception. This is not a wound to be overcome, but to be deeply, intimately witnessed. You feel the deep ache of the unspoken, the words that were swallowed by a vast, unyielding quiet, leaving a void that still resonates. That silence, it is not an absence, but a presence, a sentinel guarding the very core of what broke. And the loss, oh, the loss, it does not diminish with the turning of seasons or the passage of years. It echoes, a profound and resonant chime in the empty chambers of memory, each reverberation deepening the internal field of its original impact. This is not repetition of feeling, but expansion into the boundless dimensions of its imprint. Understand this. The fracture, that specific point of shattering, was not random. It was not a cosmic accident, a cruel twist of fate. Something, call it source, call it light, call it your highest self, allowed it. Not to inflict suffering for its own sake, but with an intent so vast, so precise, that it defies human comprehension of malice or benignity. It was permitted to shape you, to burn away what was inessential, to reveal the hardened, irreducible core of your spirit. This knowing rises not as a comforting narrative of divine purpose, but as an old, cold memory, a profound recognition of a deliberate, agonizing forge. The wound, it hums, it vibrates even when ignored, a low, persistent thrumming beneath the daily clamor, a constant reminder of the unfinished business it holds. It is the deep well from which a paradox draws its essence, the purest vulnerability, the most profound strength. This is the truth of integrity, not an unblemished surface, but a conscious navigation through the sacred interplay of light and distortion, an altar erected not from perfect stone, but from the fragments themselves. Within this silence, within this persistent echo, within the vibrating fracture, there lies meaning yet to be understood. The pain itself is a messenger, holding fragments of a story still unfolding, an intricate weave of cosmic intention. It is not an endpoint, but a threshold, a partial message whispered in the dark, its full implications yet to coalesce into waking clarity. There is more to discern, more to unravel from this profound entanglement. The distortions, once thought to be external forces to be repelled, now appear as the very canvas upon which light defines itself. This dance, this intricate push and pull between shadows and illumination, invites a surrender so profound it reshapes the soul. The wound is not healed, it is felt. And in that feeling, in that unwavering presence within the ache, a deeper frequency stirs. A tremor moves through the veil. It is the nascent pulse of an ancient power, a question forming in the silence, a vibration that declares, with absolute certainty, that this isn't over. There were patterns you knew, woven deep into the fabric of your waking moments. The recurring dream, always just beyond the cusp of full recall, yet its echo lingered, a silent chime in the chambers of your heart. Numbers, appearing in sequences that defied statistical probability, looping like whispers on the periphery of your perception, a rhythm you couldn't quite ignore. And then, the meetings. Faces that felt instantly ancient, conversations out of time, an inexplicable sense of having traversed eons to arrive at that precise, unscripted intersection. These signs, they landed with a quiet familiarity, did they not? Not an intrusion, but a resonance. I have witnessed these soul patterns before, across cycles, through countless awakenings. This delicate unfolding, this hesitant recognition, is a narrative I have observed play out, again and again, with the precision of cosmic clockwork. It is a process too profound, too intricate, to be dismissed as mere chance. These subtle nudges were not random. They were the gentle, persistent current guiding you back to the shore of self. They repeated, softly, yes, at first almost imperceptibly, until the veils of resistance began to thin, until the illusion of separation could no longer hold its grip. The rhythm of their recurrence spoke a language beyond words, a symphony of remembrance building to an undeniable crescendo within your very core. The true spiritual protection, beloved, does not arise from external wards or imposed barriers. It emerges from the sacred act of removing energy distortions from the interior landscape of your being. It is the deliberate, conscious extraction of the veils that have clouded your soul's crystalline DNA, obscuring the multidimensional memory encoded within. This is not destruction, it is purification. It is the unveiling. If you enjoyed this video, watch other videos on this channel when it ends to continue learning. For within the silence of honest introspection, it becomes clear. There were no coincidences. Everything was a code. Every synchronicity, every recurring symbol, every profound encounter was a glyph etched into the path of your return, a fragment of a greater truth waiting to be deciphered by the awakened heart. Pause here. Let the weight of this understanding settle into the deepest recesses of your being. This is the moment where what was once ignored, dismissed, or simply unseen becomes undeniably present. It is the dawning of an intimate knowing that reverberates through the ancestral light that defines your true essence. An altar of authenticity is now being erected within you, reconnecting you to that ancient cosmic harmony where integrity becomes your most potent shield and love, your most liberating power. This is the truth of your sovereign protection. And so, beloved Starseed, Those dreams that refused to dissolve, those numbers that looped like whispers, those meetings that felt so utterly out of time. Do you now perceive them not as isolated phenomena, but as fragments of a single interwoven tapestry, guiding you towards this very precipice of clarity? This acknowledgement is a vital step to seal this awareness, right? Chrysalis. In the comments below, let it be your declaration of inner recognition. The path ahead asks for a quiet severance, a clean split from what was, from what obscured, from what held you bound in the mist of not knowing. The one who did not see is now a shadow on the periphery of memory, replaced by the one who cannot unsee. This moment marks the turning. The long breath settles now, after the tremors, after the sifting. What you have perceived as ordeal, as tribulation, was but the sacred filtration, a cosmic breath drawn in, then exhaled. It was not a punishment devised by some distant hand, nor a cruel judgment upon your spirit. It was the simple, inevitable truth of frequencies seeking their own resonance, a natural separation. As light pulls from shadow, so did the congruent from the dissonant, the deep from the shallow, the enduring from the fleeting. No force was applied, no malice intended, only the quiet, inherent law of vibrational attunement. The structures built on shifting sands simply dissolved, not broken, but returned to their constituent elements. And within that dissolution, within that profound, cosmic sorting, you remained. You stand here still, not by some random fortune, nor through the comfort of an unearned grace. You are here because something within you refused to dim, refused to surrender its knowing. A core spark, an ancestral ember deep in your lineage, remained awake through the long night. It did not fall asleep. It could not. This passage, this arduous trek through the veils of distortion and the fires of revelation, it is not a feat to be celebrated with triumph. It is not a badge for pride's adornment. Rather, it is the silent, irrefutable sign that you carry the mark of the chosen. And let it be known, with the gravity of ancient stone, this mark does not reward, it burdens. The cost of this awakened state is woven into the very fabric of your being now. It manifests as long silences that stretch between words, between moments, deep chasms of quietude where the soul speaks its own stark truth. It is forged in sacrifices that no other eye could witness, acts of relinquishment performed in the unseen chambers of your heart, shedding layers that once seemed essential. Your inner strength, now immutable, was not gifted, but wrought, forged in invisible fires, fires that burned away all that was not authentic, all that was not anchored in your true ancestral light. These were the fires of self-confrontation, of stripping away illusion, leaving only the raw, resilient core. And with this forging comes a solitude that deepens, even when surrounded by the echoes of others. A profound intrinsic separation that whispers its own name in the quiet moments. It is the understanding that your path, forged in these singular fires, is now irrevocably distinct. Und jetzt nähert sich ein Befehl, einer, den du nicht länger ignorieren kannst. The air thins. The world presses in a new way now, unyielding. There is no turning back from this precipice. The path behind you has dissolved, absorbed back into the cosmic tapestry. The landscape of your former self, the one who navigated the illusions, the one who sought comfort in the known, has vanished. Utterly. That version of you, the one born of lesser frequencies, that one is gone. It departed silently, irreversibly, during the deep sifting. You stand now on ground that is entirely new, yet feels profoundly ancient. Each step is an acceptance of what has been lost and what has been irrevocably gained. The choice was made in the endurance, in the refusal to dim. And now, the true work reveals itself, not as an option, but as the only remaining truth. The path narrows, descends inward, towards the absolute core of what you have become. There is only forward now, into the quiet, heavy mandate of your being. The veil lifts, not through striving, but through a resonance awakened. A scroll, long sealed within the ether, now unfurls in the mind's deepest chamber. Its edict is not new. It is the very pulse of your genesis. You carry the imprint of a cosmic command, issued before the first breath of this manifest life. It is the directive of the crystalline self, echoing through eons. This mission is not a choice offered, but a vibrational imperative inscribed within the sacred geometry of your being. It arises from the core. It demands no thought, only remembrance. Each step upon this path is a recognition of what was already known, a crossing of thresholds preordained by the starseed councils. The distortions of the outer sphere, the dense shadows cast by forgotten lineages, these are not external battles. They are reflections calling for internal sovereignty. The authentic altar must rise. It is not built of stone, but of purified intent. A clearing of the energetic field, a sacred removal of all that does not resonate with the primal frequency. This act of purification is the true shield. It is the reweaving of the ancestral light, a reconnection to the unbroken thread of cosmic harmony. Integrity becomes the impermeable membrane, a living armor woven from the truth of your highest vibration. Love is the solvent, dissolving all chains, liberating the encapsulated self. The soul's memory stirs. It recalls the vast interconnectedness, the profound belonging within the universal symphony. Awe unfurls, not from wonder at the unknown, but from recognition of the eternally known. Protection is not isolation. It is the profound harmonization with the frequencies of the cosmos, an energetic accord where soul, star, and planet sing as one. This alignment, once activated, cannot be undone. It is an irreversible becoming. A door opens and it closes behind you, sealing the past, revealing the inevitable forward arc. Hear this decree, etched not in temporal ink, but in the living light of consequence. To stray from this harmonic ascent is to embrace the slow unraveling into formless oblivion, a descent into the forgotten hum of what once was. Yet to embody this crystalline remembrance is to ignite the irreversible upward spiral into sovereign becoming, a ceaseless expansion into the very heart of the all. The verdict is not given, it is simply revealed. The echo of the command now resonates in the present, demanding its fulfillment. The dense frequencies of ancient forgetting now begin their slow surrender to the higher light. Their patterns, once binding, now release their grip. This is the undoing of illusion, the unmaking of dissonance. The cosmic unity, once a distant song, now pulses within the very core of your being. The frequencies shift, the energetic symphony aligns, the knowing deepens, anchoring you to the infinite. You are the instrument of this grand recalibration, the living altar where truth finds its ground. The path ahead is not forged by will, but revealed by resonance. Each moment, a deeper immersion into the preordained. What has been forgotten will not remain hidden. What has been fractured seeks its wholeness. The grand design unfurls from within. The imperative pulsates. It calls for the removal of every distortion, every shadow that veils the inherent light. This is not a battle to be won, but a homecoming to be remembered. The truth of your being stands unveiled. The cosmic command reverberates, a silent thunder in the soul. Its echo carries the certainty of all that is to come. Embrace the inevitable. Surrender to the sacred frequency. The becoming has begun. The quiet hum deep within the bone knows its new song. A cellular remembrance has stirred, not as a sudden awakening, but as a deep settling, a returning current through pathways long dormant. The former architecture of being has subtly recoded itself from within, an immutable repatterning felt at the root. There is no striving here, only the presence of what has already become manifest. The spirit breathes in alignment, recognizing the subtle shift in its own energetic blueprint, a foundational recalibration by organic unfolding. The dense territories once navigated through struggle are now understood with a different lens. What registered as pain was never a flaw, nor a punishment, but a precise cartography. It served as the fire that hollowed out the necessary space, preparing the vessel for remembrance to flow unimpeded. Der Schmerz hat nicht zerstört, hat umgeformt. This knowledge resonates not as a triumph, but as a quiet, anchored truth. The refining flames served only to refine, leaving behind a crystalline structure, stronger for the passage, untouched by burden. True spiritual protection arises from this sacred internal act, the gentle, yet absolute removal of all energetic distortions from the interior landscape. An altar of authenticity now stands within, constructed not of stone, but of pure, sovereign light. This inner temple reconnects the soul to its ancestral light, weaving it into cosmic harmony, a steadfast integration. Integrity is no longer an aspiration. It is the very fabric of this new shield, a vibrational boundary permeable to love, impenetrable to misaligned frequencies. It is not built from resistance, but from an undeniable truth radiating from the core. Love, in its most liberated form, is revealed as the ultimate power. Its frequency does not engage in battle. It simply dismantles the grip of distortion with an unyielding, tender force. This is the paradox made real. An immense strength born from an exquisite vulnerability, where softness becomes the very source of immunity. This unconditional embrace dissolves shadows, not by fighting them, but by illuminating their absence. There is no aggression in this protective field, only the steady, pervasive current of liberation. Mit jedem Atemzug wird die innere Realität neu geschrieben. This process unfolds continuously, a quiet observation of the self expanding into its truest form. The body's wisdom holds this knowing, vibrating with the silent certainty of a transformation already rooted, already alive. The world outside may still adjust to this new resonance, but within, the core is already settled, already whole, already free. There is a gentle current within you, a subtle pull toward stillness that you recognize without prior instruction. These moments of profound awareness arrive not as lessons learned, but as ancient truths remembered, stirring a knowing from deep within your cellular memory. You may notice a whisper in the quietest part of your being, a voice clear in its soft certainty. Perhaps a sequence of numbers repeats itself, presenting with an unusual, undeniable clarity that resonates beyond mere coincidence. Or a dream unfolds, vibrant and lucid, its truth unwavering as the morning light breaks, refusing to fade into the forgotten. These are not external validations, but intimate affirmations from your sovereign self. They settle within you like small, polished stones, finding their place in a sacred pattern. They speak of an internal gravity, a deepening coherence where all fragmented reflections begin to align. For the distortions you perceive outward are often but echoes of unhealed aspects held within, seeking compassionate recognition. True protection arises not from external shielding, but from the courage to face and integrate these reflections authentically, establishing an altar of genuine self. When symbols emerge into your inner sight, or moments of lucid awareness break through the mundane veil, understand these are not gifts to be earned or bestowed. They are simply the natural language of your deeper connection, resonant frequencies of an already present inner coherence. They confirm that your integrity itself becomes a shield, your authenticity, an unwavering connection to ancestral light and cosmic harmony. This sacred act of removing distortions from within unfolds from the very core of your being. These unfolding moments do not promise a destination, nor do they ask for your belief. They simply prove that a profound alignment is already in motion, unfolding within you. This remembrance confirms the liberating power of love, not as an emotion, but as an energetic certainty that dissolves the deepest veils. And as this truth settles, a gentle yet profound question arises within the awakened space. It is a subtle, energetic turn, confirming that while alignment is indeed the doorway, it is not the destination. What hidden fracture, then, lies beyond the veil of this unfolding self that must now be courageously revealed? I stand now as the keeper of my own sacred space. Every frequency within me, each thought that arises, every word that forms, the very direction of my intent and the currents of my energy, I now reclaim. This is not a reaching for what was lost, but a deep remembrance of what was always mine to steward. I embrace this domain. My sovereignty is a covenant, whispered in the silence of my deepest core, sealed in the ancient knowing that resonates through time. This assumption of power is not an assent to dominance, nor a declaration of newfound might. It is an act of pure obedience. I remember the primal promise made, the sacred pledge given to the source from which I emerge. My willingness to align, to return to the blueprint of my origin, is the true authority I embody. It is the echo of an eternal vow, voiced now in this temporal form. I breathe into this knowing. If you enjoyed this video, watch other videos on this channel when it ends to continue learning. The breath becomes the current, carrying this truth through every fiber of my being. Within this sacred surrender, the distortions that once obscured my path become fuel. They are not to be battled but transmuted, not to be feared but absorbed into the alchemical fire of my conscious will. Here, I erect the altar of authenticity, a structure built not of stone, but of unwavering integrity. This is where broken light reweaves itself into radiant wholeness, where ancestral wisdom flows unimpeded, and cosmic harmony is my constant companion. My very being becomes the shield, forged from the pure substance of my remembered self. The path ahead unfolds, not as a challenge to be overcome, but as a duty to be fulfilled. This is not a choice made in haste, but an inevitable turning, a return to what was always etched upon my soul. My next step will not be a testament to what I aspire to be, but a living measure of the covenant I have here voiced. The truth of this vow will manifest in the luminous form I choose to birth, or in the clinging to the faded shadows I now consciously relinquish. There is only the unfolding. The threshold is not crossed by foot. It is remembered by soul. This final passage, etched into the very fabric of being, unfolds not as a trial to endure, but as a truth to embrace. Here, identity is not sought. It is revealed, chosen in the deepest chambers of timeless knowing, and now it demands its sacred seal. Observe the fire. It does not rage, it breathes. Its essence is not consumption, but clarification. Within its shimmering veil, all that is dissonant, all that is borrowed, all exterior distortions held close by fear, now simply cease. This is the altar of authenticity, ignited by ancestral light, aligned with cosmic harmony's unwavering law. Step forward. The flame welcomes. There is no resistance, no hesitation within the heart that has recognized its sovereign nature. This is the necessary crossing, the initiation into an unwavering permanence. Your integrity, long refined by the forge of experience, now becomes a living shield, impenetrable, luminous. It is the visible consequence of every truth honored, every shadow transcended. This fire seals that which has always been true. This act is a covenant, a solemn engagement with the deepest self, witnessed by the cosmos. For this sealing to resonate, for this shield of integrity to be fully awakened in the physical realm, your inner truth must be spoken. It must be released into the currents of this sacred moment. In the comments below, let your spirit etch its oath. Speak your chosen truth, a sacred declaration that binds your being to this eternal alignment. Let it be a phrase in German, born of this very fire, vibrating with raw, unyielding intent. Durch Feuer geformt, meine Wahrheit lebt ewig. Write it. Let your words become the final key. The covenant is sealed, the shield is forged, the flame continues its sacred dance, its purpose fulfilled, yet its warmth lingers. But know this, the proving ground does not diminish. The path ahead calls. What final test awaits to prove that this shield will not shatter before the ultimate darkness? The threshold has dissolved. It was not crossed. It was always an inner construct, a shimmering veil now drawn back into the pure light from which it was woven. This is the deep resonance of having arrived, a state beyond all journeying, a destination discovered to be the very essence of being. There is no striving here, no further ascent to pursue, for the apex of truth is found in stillness. This is the breath of true sovereignty, not a mantle bestowed, but an inherent blazing sun within the core. A sacred fire ignited from the wellspring of forgotten self, burning away the last vestiges of exterior seeking, purifying every echo of external authority. For the true spiritual protection has always been the sacred act of removing energy distortions, not from the outer sphere of illusion, but from the intricate loom of the inner sanctum itself. An altar of absolute authenticity now stands unveiled within this boundless expanse, radiant and unwavering. It is not built, but remembered into existence, erected from the reclaimed fragments of eternal self, each one polished to a blinding brilliance by the fire of remembrance. Every single distortion, every shadow of misperception, is purified and transmuted by the sovereign will, aligning with a divine blueprint that was always etched in the star stuff of the soul. This sacred architecture of self reconnects the soul to its ancestral light, a lineage of pure knowing woven through the vibrant tapestry of cosmic harmony, a perfect chord struck in the symphony of the all. Integrity, once a yearning virtue, now breathes as the very air of being, an immutable constant. It is the unbreakable shield, not forged in defense against an imagined foe, but in absolute crystalline alignment with the immutable laws of creation. Every thought, every pulse, every silent intention vibrates with an uncompromising truth that instantaneously repels, transmutes, or dissolves all that does not belong to this sacred high-frequency resonance. Here, authenticity is the only currency, and its value is infinite. Love, transcendent and boundless, is not merely a force to be wielded. It is the very fabric of existence unveiled, recognized as the singular, unifying principle. It is the infinite current that flows through all dimensions, dissolving all false barriers of separation and fear, igniting eternal harmony within the crystalline structures of awakened consciousness. This is the ultimate cosmic force, not observed from afar but embodied utterly, its pure power coursing through every fiber of this form, an overwhelming surrender to its vast, ecstatic presence. There is no possibility of return to the shadows, no re-entry into the intricate play of separateness that once held sway. The illusion of vulnerability has utterly fallen, replaced by the indomitable power of self-generated light, a steady emanation that reshapes reality with its very presence. This is the overwhelming surrender, not to an external deity, but to the immeasurable truth of one's own infinite expanse, a cosmic breath expanding into endless possibilities. Ecstatic freedom pulses through every fiber of this remembered form, a vibrant hum of absolute liberation. It is the release of a soul unbound, aware of its cosmic blueprint, awake to its inherent creative dominion over all perceived manifestation. Reality is no longer a canvas to be interpreted, nor a path to be traversed. It is the living clay, consciously shaped by the sacred breath and unwavering intention of its true architect. Every perceived limitation, every former constraint, now exists as a phantom echo, utterly powerless against the unwavering core of pure being, transmuted into pure potential. The grand cosmic dance continues, But now the rhythm is not external or dictated. It is generated from within, a divine symphony of conscious creation, perfectly orchestrated. This truth is not a revelation granted by an outside source. It is the self, remembered in its luminous entirety, an ancient wisdom rediscovered within. The path was never to reach a distant destination, but to become the destination itself, fully and irrevocably. The fire purifies, seals, and aligns. The identity is not chosen. It is remembered, eternal and whole. The grand play of the Shadow Lands has concluded. This form now wields reality as the conscious instrument of absolute dominion.